What's happening, MJ traders and investors? It's Rod with the Pow Group. Welcome back on The Pursuit of Wealth, your home for MJ stocks, crypto assets, news, and interviews. Also home to the best MJ community. Hope you're having a great weekend so far. It's Saturday, April 6th. And in this video, we're going to do another rapid fire news update for a period March 30th to April 5th. And again, it's not to go into deep dive details, just a high level overview. And if you want to look into it more in your own time, feel free to do so. Before we get to it, though, make sure to smash the like. It helps support me in the channel. If you're new, you can subscribe, tick the bell, all that good stuff, and you'll be notified on any future videos that I post or whenever I do a live stream. You can also follow us over on X, formerly Twitter. The handle for that is @GroupPow. Going to be using that as my platform of choice going forward. And if you go to the YouTube channel, click on Community tab. I'm going to be giving away an annual membership in celebration of 420, Germany going legal, and Florida adult use on the ballot, and more than likely being enacted in 2025. So we'll be giving a annual membership to the Pow Group Private Community Gold membership valued at $150, and that'll take place on 420 on April 20th, Saturday. I'll do a live stream and I'll do a random comment. All you have to do is click on this video and my interview with Nevis Brand CEO John Keeber, and then you'll be entered for a chance to win. And the verdict is in, says MJ Moment. MJ legalization has been a success story for states that have legalized in an op-ed. So I think we all know this, right? It's creating jobs, tons of tax revenue. This is going to be a big industry, and it's creating, we're even seeing, studies that are saying that teen use is going down as well since legalization, and everybody thought there was going to be zombies in the streets, but it really is changing the quality of life, like most would, contrary to popular belief. Most are trying to spread FUD and all this stigma and propaganda that has been going on for decades, and just, not really embracing it for what it is and being true, and that what it is medicine, and, natural medicine of the future. Virginia governor vetoes bill to legalize MJ sales, so public enemy number one at the moment. But as I understand it, they can't. Virginia is the only place where you can't run consecutively. So I would say he's not going to be there for very long. But Virginia's governor has vetoed legislation to authorize licensed pot sales and another bill allowing for sentencing of past convictions. So this just not very popular, right? This gentleman probably not going to be very popular going forward. But yeah, it's just so mind-boggling to me that, the majority of Americans want it, and you still have these people in office that work for the people, and they're like completely ignoring it, right? It's like, you work for the people and the majority want it. How are you standing in the way? Like, it should be, in a democracy, it should be, if the majority wants it, it should happen, right? Shouldn't be one or two people in office that are trying to, or maybe, a handful, or, that are getting lobbying money from, these incumbents like big alcohol, tobacco, and opioid creators. It's really kind of stupid at the end of the day. But anyways, I digress. Also, Germany's MJ legalization law officially takes effect. That was on April 1st, allowing personal possession and cultivation for adults. So once again, congrats to Germany. It was a big week this week. We also had Imperial Brands converts 123 million Canadian in debt into Auxly MJ shares. So this is huge. This is a big tobacco giant behind player brand, but this obviously, right, big tobacco, big alcohol, big pharma is going to be the ones that suffer the most. So this is a huge vote of confidence as well for Auxly. So this is a company that I hold in my portfolio. It's a relatively small position. I think it's only like 1 or 2% of my entire MJ portfolio. If you haven't seen that video, I did a 2024 update with percentage breakdown of my whole MJ holdings. But I think Auxly is definitely worth the risk, and could be one of those companies that turns it around and succeeds long term, and we see a big success story, or it could get acquired as well. But it went from like a penny like a month ago to 7 pennies. So up, that's a dramatic increase, right? And just imagine if it goes back to where it was at one point, all-time highs, at even it goes to $1, from a penny to $1, like, that's life-changing wealth. So I'm definitely holding that one long-term, but obviously not financial advice. This is for entertainment purposes only, and don't ever buy or sell anything based on anything that I say. Also, Ascend Wellness Holdings CEO John Hartman demonstrates confidence in the company by acquiring stock. So this is what you want to see, right? You want to see CEOs put their money where their mouth is, and just, give you that vote of confidence that, they're confident, and what better way than to buy your own stock, right? Also, Florida, and some of these CEOs are making like millions and millions of dollars, right? And like millions and millions of like hundreds of millions of dollars in losses. So if you're making millions of dollars as a CEO, and like salary and bonuses, like, come on, buy like $100,000 worth of shares at least. Like, come on, it's not that difficult, right? Also, and a lot of controversy about how much these CEOs get paid, but just look at how much Apple's CEO gets paid. At one point, Apple almost went bankrupt, right? Everybody thinks, oh, well, Apple's way different, but it's not really, they had their trials and tribulations and almost went bankrupt as well, but Microsoft saved them with I think $150 million investment, which was a lot of money back then, right? So, eventually MJ companies are going to be very high cash flowing businesses and very profitable businesses. They'll be offering dividends in the future, just like Boris Jordan says, the CEO of Curaleaf. He said if not for 280E, they'd probably already be paying a dividend to investors. And he believes they're going to be high cash flowing businesses as well. So, we're so early, it's not even funny. And these CEOs, they do get paid a lot, but, rightly so. They get paid what they're worth. And, eventually 5, 10, 20 years from now, we're all really going to understand, why they get paid the big bucks, because these companies are going to be making money hand over fist. They won't know what to do with it. Florida adult use MJ legalization will appear on the ballot, court rules. So I don't think anybody had any doubt that this was going to happen. And we're more than likely we're going to see it enacted in 2025 in the summer. They need 60%. I think there's been some preliminary data saying that I think there's somewhere around 70% in favor of it, but I think it's going to come in somewhere around the 65 to 75% approval rate, and it will get enacted. And I think the most likely time frame will be in the summer of 2025. Also, Florida adult use MJ campaign spending tops $55 million as other MSOs join. So obviously, Trulieve leading the charge here, but this is great to see. And there's just too much money behind this, and one of the arguably could be the biggest MJ market in the world. And yeah, I think it's like an 80 to 90% chance that it gets enacted next year. Also, Donald Trump will decide on MJ legalization as a Florida voter, thanks to Supreme Court ruling. So this is going to be interesting. We'll see. There's another article coming about the Republicans and MJ legalization, how it could help them. But this is going to be interesting if we start to see pivot as well. He's already done a 180 on crypto and said that he, hated crypto. Well, I don't know if he said he hated crypto, but he said he loves the US dollar and that's the currency of his choice. And now he's got all his NFTs and a bunch of, he's making money off crypto. So now, of course, he likes it. But he did a 180 after Ramaswamy dropped out, and he's almost pro Bitcoin now. He said, I can live with Bitcoin, right? And I think something's going to happen similar where, I can live with MJ, and it's medicine, right? They'll pivot and do a 180 there as well, in my opinion. And it'll be smart because it'll be helping. And Dems arguably took the Senate because of their pro MJ stance, right? And arguably probably why Biden even took the White House. So we'll see. I think it's going to be a big part of political campaigns going forward. Also, MJ operator Goodness Growth selling Vireo Health of New York, and they said that it was due to the failed Verano deal. But there's been some controversy and some rules out of New York lately with regards to like different licenses for tobacco and lottery. And there's a whole lot of concern right now with regards to the regulatory landscape in New York. And it's been a slow rollout, but that's going to be a huge market as well, but not as big as Florida, in my opinion. Also, SNDL and Nova MJ announced assignment of Dutch Love stores to Nova Cannabis and extension of credit facility as the partnership grows. Also, Canadian marijuana operator Endiva weighs options, including potential sale. So trials and tribulations continue in Canada. It's only going to encourage the federal government to get on board and start supporting this industry with tax breaks, whether it be a switch from flat to a percentage excise tax, whether it be other incentives, increasing milligrams from 10 to 100 to help combat the illicit market and convert those users over to the legal market. Tons of things, different restrictions with regards to advertising and accessibility and, convenience stores, things like that. That's only going to help the industry, right? And there's also another company that went through creditor protection we'll talk about here in a moment. Also, Canopy Growth, Alan McCarthy takes helm of MJ Council of Canada. So veteran Paul McCarthy has been appointed president of MJ Council of Canada, the country's largest industry-supported lobby group. So this is great to see. All right, moving along. Tilray Medical announces new scientific publication on age-related patterns for medical MJ use and medicine of the future. Tilray-led study shows chronic pain arthritis, anxiety, and insomnia as primary illnesses and symptoms for medical MJ use. 53.8% of medical MJ patients in study reported a decrease of prescription opioid use. So you see why these incumbents, these big pharma, big alcohol, big tobacco don't like this, because it's disrupting them, right? Like even alcohol sales are down way down with teen use, or well, not teen use, but like, in the younger demographic. So obviously people trying to smoke less as well, right? They're trying to be more healthy, and then nice alternative, right? MJ is a great alternative, and then also a lot healthier, and it also has that recreational component as well. Also, Tilray Brands announces 420 activations across Canada and unveils celebratory product lineup. This is epic. They're coming out with the Flower, Redican, Space Age Cake. I mentioned that in one of my videos. Good Supply, Melon Dream, Broken Coast, Emergency, and Cherry Cheesecake. You got XMG, Non-Carbonated Banana Brain Freeze, and Berry Rocket. Those are going to be friggin' phenomenal, I bet. Cold Brews and Peach Cranberry and Wild Berry Hibiscus. Send it. Seltzers in Lemon, Mango, and Pineapple. You also got some blunts and pre-rolls. Yeah, vapes. Epic lineup here as we roll into 420. Also, Green Thumb Industries to hold first quarter 2024 and earnings conference call on May 8th. And then Organigram's popular Shred brand surpasses $200 million in yearly retail sales. And as we know, they paid like almost a third of the revenue in excise taxes. So just imagine, everybody says that these companies will never be profitable. Well, if that happens, it's almost like 280E going away through rescheduling, right? If we get rescheduling to 280E, to rescheduling to Schedule 3 and 280E goes away, that's going to add, I think Cureleaf paid over $350 million just in 280E alone, right? Imagine that hits the bottom line. Okay, well, if, Organigram and Oxley said about a third of their revenue went to excise tax, imagine if that hit their bottom line. Tilray said if it wasn't for that and it switched to a percentage fee, that could add $70 to $80 million to their bottom line, right? Like that's huge. And they said if they make $300 million, they pay like $150 million in excise tax, right? Like that's not sustainable. That's not going to be a long-term solution. So something has to give at some point. So if that happens, the days of unprofitable LPs are numbered, right? And then as we see, improvements to other things, it's just only going to help that. Store cap doubling in Ontario as well from 75 to 150. Also, MJ producer Heritage, that's what I was referring to. Heritage Cannabis granted creditor protection. So again, we continue to see Canadian producers just struggle, and whether it be retailers, producers, doesn't matter. It's all over the place, right? It's not just producers, it's not just retailers, it's the whole industry. And it's just because of so much saturation. Like, we don't need thousands of retailers, thousands of producers, right? And then also an interesting article here. Cannabis operators' delinquent payments total more than $3.8 billion in a report. So total delinquent payments in the U.S. by operators have exceeded $3.8 billion and could balloon to $4.2 billion in 2024 without some intervention. The problem stems in part from poor cash flow management and heavy tax burden of Section 280E, according to the report by Oregon-based Whitney Economics. And, a lot of people are getting into the industry, like starting a dispensary or whatever, and they don't even know that 280E exists, right? Which is like a huge tax burden, and you can't do certain write-offs, right? It's not like you're getting taxed on the gross versus net, right? So it's just insane. And this is something that has to give soon as well, and I'm pretty sure it's going to happen. Rescheduling to Schedule 3 is the most likely scenario. Also, GOP Congresswoman says passing MJ banking bill would help Republicans keep House majority, and that would be none other than Nancy Mace. So this is huge, right? Like, this is big, and this is one of the only people, in my opinion, in politics that really gets it. And she said that she used it in her early years as well to help, and she used it as medicine, right? And like, to say it's on the same category as heroin, like, come on. Also, High Tide to open fifth Canna Cabana store in Mississauga, Ontario, as they continue to roll out stores in support of that doubling of 75 to 150 in Ontario, right? So it's just going to be a continuous thing that we're going to see, in my opinion, as they try to ramp up and double their stores there in Canada's biggest province. In terms of Cureleaf, they're going to be reporting first quarter 2024 financial and operational results, and that'll be on May 9th. After market close. I'll be covering that one extensively as well. Also, the Cannabis Company announces new multi-state retail, manufacturing, and wholesale partnership with woman-led brand Flower by Eddie Parker. So great to see. We have Aurora agreeing to settle their class action lawsuit for an undisclosed sum, and that was a settlement of a class action lawsuit regarding allegations it artificially inflated its profits in 2019. So good to see that behind them. Also, Ron DeClown says Florida voters will reject radical MJ ballot measure claiming it would reduce the quality of life. I don't know what this guy's smoking, but it definitely isn't the medicine of the future here that you're seeing on the screen. I think he's smoking something a little bit harder than that. I can't even. It's just so dumb that I can't even talk about it for more than like a couple seconds at a time. Also, Florida's recreational MJ ballot measure will fail, says the governor. So Ron DeClown at it again, saying, it's just, you're seeing article after article after, like, it's just like, man, give it a rest. Like, you're so dumb. Oh man, it's just like, it's not going to fail. And the fact that he's saying this, like, just makes me even more confident, right? It's usually the opposite of what they say, right? It's like, don't trust any of these people as far as you can throw them, as far as I'm concerned, not to get political. And I'm in Canada. I could care less about either side of the aisle, Republican, Dem, but I just want what's best for the medicine of the future. It's just, it's asinine. It's just almost laughable. But moving on, Hawaii House dooms adult use MJ legalization again. So more bad news, but again, it's just temporary roadblocks and just a matter of time, right? The dominoes are already starting to fall. Also, Trulieve to hold first quarter 2024 results and conference call on May 9th as well. So May 9th is going to be a big day. We also have German officials under pressure to unveil MJ legalization's second step focused on commercial sales, so Pillar 2, which I think is more than likely going to happen at some point in 2025. But if not 2026, I would say at the latest. But this is just crazy, the amount of bullish catalysts we have all, at the same time. We also have safe banking, uplisting to the NYSE and the NASDAQ, rescheduling, Pennsylvania, Florida, like Pillar 2 in Germany, which is going to be huge, excise tax potentially switching to percentage in Canada, doubling the store count, 10 milligram to 100 milligram. Like, there's so many things coming. And that's just, what we kind of know about now. And the most likely thing now, there's tons of things that we might not even see coming, right, down the future and down the pipe. So just head on a swivel because this industry is changing quickly. Also, Schumer says passing MJ banking bill is part of the Senate's busy agenda in the weeks and months ahead. So that's great to see as we continue to see, cannabis talked about all the time, in Congress and in politics right now. It's just a big, big issue, right? Or not so much issue, but topic and focus. And I would, even an issue, right? We need to start supporting this amazing industry and create jobs, create better quality of life, contrary to what Ron DeClown would think. Department of Justice says state MJ legalization boosts tourism in court filing seeking dismissal of industry lawsuit. So absolutely it boosts tourism, right? Like, imagine if Florida has adult use sales, you think they got, billions and billions of dollars in tourism now, you wait, right? It'll be insane. And the amount of jobs it'll create and tax revenue, it's just going to be insane. And then Colorado, right? Obviously they've been making tons of money off of it, and they were the first to do so. And then speaking of which, Colorado governor says MJ rescheduling. See, now this is a governor that actually isn't smoking, stuff harder than medicine of the future, and isn't a complete clown, right? Ron DeClown, and then we have this guy here, or gal. Is it guy? Forget his name. Where is it here? Governor Jared Polis. Yeah, so he. But yeah, this guy seems like he has his, figured out. But yeah, I'm trying to think of something funny with his name. Ron DeClown, that guy needs to get out of here with his nonsense. But yeah, he says that MJ rescheduling, bank reform are first dominoes on the path to federal legalization. So what have I been saying? Like, has he been watching POW videos or what? Because I've been saying this for months now, that the most likely scenario is we get rescheduling to Schedule 3. Then we get safe banking, uplisting in the NYSE and the NASDAQ. We get the big banks and the Wall Street banks, institutions position, right? Nothing happens with your JP Morgans and your Goldman Sachs and your Morgan Stanleys. We can't have anything happen without them getting their filthy hands all over it, right, and making profit. So we got to get them positions, and then they'll do federal legalization, right, likely in a couple of years. But I would say, over the next year or two, we get rescheduling, safe banking, and then over, the next, call it 3 to 5 years, we get full-blown federal legalization. And that's more than likely going to come in form of descheduling, right? Probably not going to get Congress to pass bills. You never know. We'll see. Maybe they'll finally come together and get something done. But I think it's going to be probably an outcome like Germany and Canada, where they remove it from the controlled substances list, right? And from the narcotics list. So it's going to be interesting. But like I said, that is definitely the way it's going to happen, in my opinion, is incremental. We're going to see, a crawl, walk, run approach where they reschedule, Then we get banking reform, uplisting in the NYSE and the NASDAQ, get all the big Wall Street banks positioned, and trading on the U.S. major exchanges where those splashy whales can play around and manipulate the market like they always do. And then the dominoes will continue to fall after that, and we'll see full-blown descheduling, which is ultimately where I think we end up. And yeah, I'm excited for it. I'm here for it. I'm going to be making videos covering this industry as long as I'm breathing air. And it's just a fantastic experience, and humble to be a part of it with you all. So going into there, let me know what you think of this news. It's Rod with Pow Group. Thanks again for joining us on the Pursuit of Wealth, and have yourself a fantastic rest of your weekend.